What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 461st episode of the Pokemon Podcast. It's super effective. I'm your host, SBJ. We got a loaded show for you guys. Yeah, we got news. There's looks on Greg's and Will's face.
I mean, I've got stuff to say. And it's a load of something.
We have stuff to talk about.
Nobody informed me. I was going to coast through this.
Greg is here ready to coast.
I am. Look, I'm on vacation, okay? I don't work this next week. I am floating through my time here until I have to face the realities of going back to work in 7 days.
Hey, that's decent.
Yeah, I mean, I don't work my birthday week, so this is my advice to everybody. Take your birthday week off.
The entire week?
The entire week.
Oh.
Give yourself the gift of doing whatever you want.
Too late this year.
Will, also here, not your birthday week.
It is certainly not. But I do have an important, what is the correct term for something that is both an announcement and a scold?
Guten Tag.
Announcement?
No, that's like, I don't know. Either
Lecture?
way. Listeners, dearest listeners, and that's please take that with as much sarcasm as possible. If you are a Pokemon Go player and it is Pokemon Go Community Day and you are online, now here's the important part. Listen, if Greg or Will invites you to a raid, you show up. You use that remote raid pass and you raid with us. Don't you ignore our invitations.
Yeah.
You didn't invite me.
You were not online.
I didn't get online. I only did an hour community.
Okay, then get out of my
Then you're not in this conversation.
Here, okay?
You weren't online. There was no green dot next to your name. We would have invited you.
Alex gets points.
Yes. Catherine gets points.
Catherine gets points. There were a few others that did answer the call.
But we failed a Mega Lopunny because none of y'all showed up.
Yes.
I would have done Mega Lopunny.
Well, you weren't there.
I was.
We can't rely on you. You sleep all the time.
Do you know what the better tell is, whether they're going to join your raid or not?
What?
It's when they have the Mega symbol next to their name, well as the green dot.
Alex did have the Mega symbol next to his name.
The Mega symbol is the ultimate, like, they are ready to join anything because they got that. Hopefully, they got that Mega Houndoom next to them.
Nobody has the Mega Houndoom going.
Credit to Actual Shuby. I can't remember Actual Shuby's real name, but Actual Shuby showed up.
Yeah,
for one. Congrats. Thank you.
We'll actually start off the show with something helpful. I don't know if people know this or not.
Yeah, something helpful. Show up for my daggone raids when I invite you. Otherwise, I will put you on the list, the bad list.
You will go further down. You will
people
not
who
get
will
presents.
be removed from my list of Pokemon Go friends. I have plenty of people who want to be my Pokemon Go friends who would be willing to show up for raids when I invite them. Thank you.
So I think a lot of people were, not a lot, maybe many people, maybe many vocal people were a little bit bummed that Swablu was not double candy, and double candy would have made sense for Swablu since it costs 400 to evolve Swablu into Altaria.
Takes a lot of candies.
And instead they did the double hatch distance this time around, which I don't know, maybe it was due for it. I can't remember if there's like a pattern to like Stardust, XP, hatch, candy.
They've taught me not to look for patterns anymore.
Yeah,
they burned me so many times.
But on these days where ideally you're supposed to play a lot of Pokemon Go because they're like 6-hour community day, go have fun, trainers. Well, here are your bonuses. I don't know if people know this, but when you mega evolve a Pokemon, if you mega evolve the Pokemon of the type you're catching, so in this case, this weekend, I mega evolved Pidgeot because, believe it or not, Swablu is not a dragon type; it's a flying type. You get
normal.
Yeah.
You get like bonus energy / whatever matching the type. So if it was like Squirtle, you would want to mega evolve a water Pokemon. If it was like Charmander, you want to mega evolve a Houndoom or a Charizard.
And I get bonus whats?
Yeah, bonus energy? What are you talking
What
about?
is energy? There's no energy in Pokemon
So,
Go.
like,
That's the TCG.
So you know how you need Mega Energy to Mega Evolve.
Yes.
Yes.
So for Pidgeot, you need I think you need only 100 Mega Energy to evolve it, and then after you Mega Evolve it again, it's only 20. So when you Mega Evolve it, and then every flying type or normal type you catch, you get Mega Energy back.
Oh, like a little refund.
So
it's
you
like
would
a
only need
cashback
to-
credit card.
Yeah.
You know, so if you do 1% at a gas station, 2% for flying, 3% for normals, makes sense.
Like my Chase points card, where I get all the points.
So you get so by the time you catch 20 Swablu, you've paid for your Mega.
Or you could not Mega and not pay and keep the money in the bank.
Yes, there you go.
But if you catch 40 Swablu, you double your energy. You've made
Nobody is catching 40 Swablu.
But wait, here, let's also repeat a conversation between Will and Greg yesterday.
Yes.
Hey, Greg.
Yes.
I guess I have to evolve one of these shiny golden Swablus into an Altaria so I could have a shiny Altaria.
Yes.
And Will then evolves a shiny golden Swablu into a golden Altaria. And then I say, oh, look, there's a button that says Mega Evolve the Altaria, but it needs 200 Mega Altaria whatever's triangles. Yep. Where do I get those?
It's not released yet.
No, it was released. It was released at the end of the raid hour.
Okay, no, but I was in the raid hour.
The raid out.
When the raid hour was over, I lost interest. When the raid hour was over, it was
I'm
nap
sorry,
time.
not raid hour. It was released at the end of the community day.
No, yeah, I was
we
done.
Did the sensible 1 to 3, the 2 hours in the middle of the day. We walked around the art park. It was very lovely. We had wonderful conversations. There was no Mega Altar.
Everybody except Catherine, Alex, and other people that showed up for our raids.
Especially Steve.
I did.
You got just raked.
So I wanted to do the Megas. So instead of doing an early community day like you guys, I did it near the end.
How is 1 o'clock in the afternoon early? I literally did a weightlifting workout, had lunch, and drove the half hour up to Greg's neighborhood that's, there.
I went shopping. I bought new pieces of furniture. I bought a lamp. I had lunch. I met Will at 1. This was my morning.
I didn't want to go out twice. I like to sleep. So my thought process was do it from 3 to 5. That's 2 hours. And then at 5, the Altaria starts popping. And then I'm already out. I'm out and about.
I have a life to lead at 6.
Turns out, no, this has been however many community days in a row that I've gone back to the park I used to go to pre-pandemic. And this is like 3 or 4. And no one is out playing after like 3. It's like, people have lives.
Yeah.
They don't want to play the whole 6 hours.
No.
And or they just don't want to go to that park anymore, I guess, which I find hard to believe because that park is extremely popular. That's why I go there.
You should A, live here. B, go to the art park with us. There was plenty of people playing.
I'm working on that. So there was 2 ways to get Mega Altaria candy yesterday. One was to do Mega Altaria raids. The other was that some of the research, the spin the Pokestop stuff, they had do whatever to get candy. That was the first time they did that. And it seems like people were very excited about that and like that. I didn't find a lot of those quests. I mostly had like catch 3 and get like 3 Ultra Balls.
I didn't even pay attention to it. I was so busy having a good time with my friend Will.
Greg won community day.
I did.
Because Greg got the most shiny Swablu's. I at one point only had 1. But back to the main topic here. having an Altaria day where you have a Pokemon that can Mega Evolve, but you can't Mega Evolve it until the community day is over. That's like getting a present on Christmas and then that says, well, but you can't actually play this until New Year's Day.
The batteries aren't released until
I was like,
New
please,
Year's.
just like, don't even give me the present, okay? Because
Put
now
it on the
I'm
shelf.
just hate
Look
you.
at it.
Again, it's like Niantic hates money. Like, but they don't. They love money.
They don't. They make a lot of it. They
love money. But what if you just do the raids during the raid hour? Why don't you boost the raids during? They have a button.
Why didn't they just have the Greg and I did raids with the occasional good people who showed up to do them with us.
Yeah, not Steve.
Sometimes they hit the wrong button and they turn off shinies or they turn off a Paris and whatever. Why don't they hit the button that says like triple the amount of raid? This is not specific to Altaria. This is specific to every community day. And I feel for those players who don't live in a big city. I feel for those players who don't play every single day. I feel for those players. I respect those players. Let me change that word. I respect those players that are not in a Discord or in a Facebook group, because those people are out of their minds and they're doing the raid trains. And I don't want 800 pings about how a Lopunny popped. Some of these people, they play Pokemon Go heavily, but they only play once a week. And usually maybe that's a Saturday. Maybe that's a community day. Why does Niantic just not boost the raids for community day? You are telling all your players to play at the same time this weekend. Crank that raid button up. Just crank it. There should be nonstop raids during
Niantic.
For the three people recording right now, only one of us has a personal relationship with Mr. John Hankey, the CEO of Niantic, and it's not me or Greg. So pick up the phone. Yeah. I know you made friends with him on that first Pokemon Go Fest when you talked face to face. Just tell him, John, Mr. Hankey, whatever his name.
Mr. Pokemon Go, please crank up the raids.
Crank the raids up.
Or quit now, fraud.
Well, I've said this before. Like, there has been community days where I did the whole 3 hours at Elm Grove Park, and the entire 3 hours. This is before pandemic. There was only like 2 raids the entire 3 hours, and there's like 8 gyms at this park, and that is frustrating. Of like, I see all these people playing, they're all incensed, they got the lures down, everyone's having a good time. You got little Johnny across the sidewalk yelling that he got a shiny something, and it's like it would be so easy to jump in our raids. You know what they did right? The Kanto Fest. There was raid after raid after raid, and it was sweet. And I kind of wish community days felt a little more like that.
You have to pay $12.99 for that experience, though.
If they said, hey, for $12.99, you'll always have somebody to raid with, and you'll never have to join a Discord or a Facebook group, I'm in. I'm 100% in.
Oh, you don't have to join a Discord or a Facebook group.
Okay.
You have to respond to the call when the call goes out. When the Pokemon Go bat signal shows up and you have a green dot next to your name, get thee to the raid, Pilgrim.
I wanted to start off the show. We got real sidetracked with the community day, but that's fine. It was Pokemon related. I wanted to start off the show talking about Pokemon Snap. I don't know if Will played anymore. I don't know if Greg played anymore, but I'm 56 hours in now.
I'm not 56 hours in.
I had
highly
incredibly
addicted.
busy week. I have played 0.
Okay. Before I have a good and a bad about Pokemon Snap, but Will, give me some more impressions. What do you got here?
Morlul is really cute.
Okay.
I got some good snaps of the Morluls, and who else did I get? It was like nighttime in the jungle. Lipard's daytime. Lipard's done. We're diamond on Lipard. There's nothing new to learn there. I got is it Yanma or Yanmega that is
Yanmega is.
I got it to look right at me. It picked up an apple that had been floating in the water and was just chewing on it so nice and sweetly. Got that. I'm still having a good time, but I'm also still playing each level about 30 times before I will move on to a new level.
Did you make it past jungle?
No.
All right, you're getting your money's worth.
Why would I go past jungle when I still haven't finished Park? I still haven't finished Meganium. I still got to do Meganium like 15 more times.
Okay, so Meganium is what I want to talk about. I want to be I don't want to spoil some stuff, but I am going to talk very specific about the Meganium thing because there's a lot there that they don't show you on the surface. But I have a complaint with the Meganium stuff. But before I get to the Meganium stuff, I want to talk about how Pokemon Snap is really good at discovery. We've talked about this prior, but it's so good at it, and which is why the Meganium stuff is frustrating. So, again, I'm not going to be spoiler here. So there's a level where the first Pokemon Snap did this. Let me lay the groundwork. The first Pokemon Snap in the beach level, there's a Lapras. So you got your Dodrio pops out, your Pidgeys pop out. There's a Pikachu. You can kite him over to the surfboard. He gets on the surfboard. He starts dancing. But if you look in the background in the ocean, there's a Lapras. And if you take a picture of the Lapras, when you get to the Scyther part, which is right past the Snorlax, more Laprases will appear. That picture of Lapras triggers more Lapras. So when you get to past the Snorlax, you get more Lapras. If you take a picture of those, when you cross the bridge, you get another. If you look back to the ocean, you get another Lapras. You take a picture of that. And then finally, right before you get to Kangaskhan, you can get some incredible pictures of Lapras because it comes really close to the bridge. And the only way you do that is by taking pictures of Lapras. And I think there's like one or two other instances in the 64 version where it does that. They brought that mechanic back. But they don't use it a lot over with the whole scope of the game. It's not used a lot. But in one level, there's a Pokemon on top of a hill. And if you take a picture of it, it will then appear at a different hill. And if you take a picture of it, it will appear in front of you. And if you take a picture of it, it will open a secret path. And the first time you open that secret path, you're like, holy cow, that was awesome. And the game doesn't tell you that. Like nowhere in the instruction manual, the game is like, if you take a picture of a Pokemon.
Wait, instruction manual? There's no instruction manual.
There never has been.
And I think for that, I think most players will eventually have that happen without looking it up because eventually you'll probably be like, I need a picture of that Pokemon, right? Eventually, you're probably going to be like, I want a better picture of that Pokemon. And if you're setting out on your level to take a picture of that Pokemon, and you do it, and then it's not even like a 6, 7. It's less than 5 seconds later they appear again. You do it, and then maybe 3 to 4 seconds later they appear again, and you do it, and then they open the secret path, and then that secret path is permanently opened. So the game is incredible at doing that. And when you first go through that secret path, you're like, whoa, I didn't know like this was here. And there's new Pokemon that you've never seen on that secret path. And then another example is in a different level. There's a Pokemon that is on a rock. And it's one of the Pokemon where if you hit him with an apple, he falls off the rock and then something exciting super happens. And you have no reason to throw an apple at this Pokemon because it's a Pokemon that appears in a bunch of other levels. You probably already have good shots of that Pokemon. But when you knock him off the rock, something really, really cool happens. And it blows your mind. You're like, this might be the coolest picture I've ever had.
Well, if you respond fast enough to take a picture, Will Anderson's biggest problem.
Well, the nice part about that one is it's at the start of the level. But this is something that you would probably eventually do because of all your tools. Hey, have I tried the music on this Pokemon? Have I tried an apple on this Pokemon? Have I tried the Illuminati ball? Have I tried the scan? Right? You have 4 different items you can use. And so the game does, those 2 interactions are both done perfectly throughout the game. You'll eventually discover them. if you're trying to unlock the secrets yourself. Obviously, you could skip everything I said, just go directly to Cerebi, look up every interaction, and then move on with life. But Pokemon Snap is very good at kind of encouraging you to use all your tools. And then we get to the Meganium level. And
it's not. I know what you're talking about, and I have a different level that I had the same problem in.
And the Meganium level is relatively short. It's way shorter than everything else. Meganium starts off in a different pose every time. He has like 3 poses. 1, he's laying down. 2, the Eevee's jumping on him.
Hey,
3,
don't. That's a spoiler. You're not supposed to give away that your boy
the whole
is
Meganium
there.
level, by the way. So if you don't want the Meganium level spoiled,
stop now.
If you start off that level and you do the scan, you see Meganium. You scan the area, you see Meganium, you see Eevee, and then you see a Sylveon off to the side, and you can scan right away. So right off the bat of the Meganium level, you got Meganium, Sylveon, Eevee, and you got to throw the Illuminati ball. Meganium gets all powered up, and then when Meganium gets to the first crystal, when you throw the Illuminati ball, you can get like a 4-star picture of Sylveon and a 4-star picture of Eevee because they're really excited. And you can get some good shots of Meganium. So if you do that first part all right, if you get the Sylveon to come over, if you get the Eevee to follow, if you get Meganium to smell the crystal, then Shaman will appear on the rock. And they give you a very short window, and they purposely put these trees in the way where you have a short window of hitting Shaman with the Illuminati ball. And if you hit him with the Illuminati ball, Meganium will look over, Shaman will jump on Meganium's head, and then he'll keep going. And then that seems to be, and when you do that, right before Shaman, 2 Comfey will come out of the tree to like signify that Shaman is active. So you did the first part with Eevee, Sylveon, Meganium. Comfey comes out of the tree, meaning you did it right. Shaman appears, you hit Shaman with the Illuminati. You got 5 Pokemon. And then there's another crystal, and if you hit that correctly, Meganium will run around the tree, and then the level is over. And that's the whole level. And you have these tools. So there are 4 more Pokemon in this level, which is the frustrating part, because you have these tools, and none of them work like the entire rest of the game works. And it's incredibly frustrating. More specifically, the scan tool. So I'm 56 hours in. This was the first time I had to look it up because I was so frustrated with doing this level over and over. And there was 2 reasons I knew there was more Pokemon in this level. Number 1 is Professor Mir says like, oh, you can get Meganium to sit down. He wants a picture of Meganium sitting on his butt. It's like, okay, well, I've done this level 30 times. Meganium's not sitting on his butt, so I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. And then number 2 is I lost my thought for number 2. But number 2 is the leaderboard. I had a score of 800,000 for that level, and somebody else had 1.8 million on that level. And I was like, how the heck did they get 1.8 million? Because I'm getting 4 stars.
Diamonds.
Yeah, diamonds.
4-star diamonds on Eevee and Shaman and Meganium. How did they get so many points unless there's more Pokemon in this level? And so there are 2 Pokemon hidden in that giant tree that Meganium runs around. And the scan feature, the thing that is supposed to show you where Pokemon are, doesn't work on the tree. And before anyone says, well, maybe the tree is too far, Sylveon is across the map.
Across the world.
And the scan feature works and shows you Sylveon. And so the scan feature doesn't show you there are Pokemon in the tree. And this then piggybacks off how bad the Apple physics are. So and again, the game doesn't tell you ever you need to do this, nor I don't think there's another level where this happens, and unless maybe they're specific to boss levels. You have to lob apple after apple at the tree, and then a bunch of Combee will come out of the tree, and then a Hoot Hoot will come out of the tree. But because the Apple physics are kind of bad, you literally have to crank your camera as high as possible. So you can't even see Meganium. You can't see the tree. You're just throwing apples and hoping you hit the tree. And then the Combi come out, and then the Hoot Hoot comes out. But one, your scan doesn't show you there are Pokemon in the tree. Two, I can't think of anywhere else in the game where you're just randomly throwing apples at a non-Pokemon for something to happen without the scan telling you something to happen. And three, even if you get the Combi out of the tree, but you fail to get them out fast enough, the Meganium will not sit down. And so you miss that whole moment. So even though you might look it up of like, oh, Combi and Hoot Hoot are in the tree, I was only able to get Meganium to sit down twice after doing this like 20 times and knowing that Combi and Hoot Hoot are in the tree. It's incredibly frustrating. And then on top of that, after I did that level, I did this level 2 hours straight to try to just get a high score. There are 2 more Pokemon in the level. There's a Pichu and an Apom in this level. And there is no way of knowing they're in the level without just knowing you're supposed to randomly throw apples at this part of the cliff, because your scan doesn't tell you Pokemon are in this level. What? Why is this level built so poorly?
No. Number one, Steve. The tree is made out of either adamantium or vibranium. The scan can't get into the wood. That's why you can't see the Pokemon.
All right. Valid.
Number two, clearly you were born in the late 80s. Because literally what you just described was all video games from like 1972 to 1990. No explanation. Figure it out. Hope your friends figure it out so they can tell you how to do it. There is a game out there called Jumpman, which was literally just like platforms and rings. And
so
there were levels where it's just like, how the frick am I supposed to get? And then like,
it was bad. Those were bad days.
Peter in the, recess company, he's like, I finally beat that level. Here's what you got to do. You got to actually jump off the screen to the left and you actually reappear not on the normal right where you normally would, but you drop down from the top. And that's how you do it. And number three, it's not frustrating. It's challenging. It's the challenge. This is the secret of the new Pokemon Snap that you just like are completely missing. It is an homage to classic arcade,
classic frustration,
classic video games. This is Battletoads 2021 is what this is.
I had a very similar experience. And this is my spoiler warning. I had a very similar experience trying to do the Mini-R section of the Desert Knight.
But the scan feature works on all of the Mini-R.
No, it doesn't. Because there's one that happens immediately and the scan doesn't pick it up until you're well past it. Until I looked it up, I scanned and it shows one's off in the distance, but there's one immediately at the start and it does not show up until you're away from it, a distance from it, and it's behind you. I spent 3 hours.
I wonder if the scan is broken on that level.
No, there's just a lot of adamantium and vibranium around. It just like it bounces.
I think that's why I wanted to start off with the 2 examples of how Pokemon Snap is really great. Like the picture, open secret path, and reminder just to try an apple on every Pokemon, a reminder to try music on every Pokemon, a reminder to try the scan on every Pokemon. It gives you reasons to go back to the levels and like, hey, I don't think I've ever played music in front of this Pokemon. Hey, I don't think I've ever thrown an apple at this Pokemon's head. Like it gives you so many reasons to go back. And the fact that like those tools don't seem to work like they normally work in the Meganium level is incredibly frustrating, I believe. And even when you know the answer, you have such a short window to complete what you want to do. Mm-hmm. And I think the Meganium level maybe gets a small pass because it's a shorter level. But imagine like one of the longer levels, like the ice level or the volcano level, and all you're trying to do is get something at the very end of that level. And you're like, I got to suffer through the first like 2 minutes of this level just because I want one good shot at the end. The windows for activation sometimes just seem so incredibly small that I feel like that is more of a hindrance than a benefit. And I
wish there was a stopping function. Let me stop.
Yeah, and I think like,
see, you're asking them to make the game easier for you. No, it's
I just
a challenge.
Think that Meganium level is just bad, and it pushes more people away than it brings people. That it continues letting people play.
Because most people out there do the Meganium level, and they do it enough times to get to the end of the game, and they're like, "That's as much as that as I'm
You're
gonna
right.
ever
You're
think."
right. Yeah. I am sure that most people probably only did the Meganium level maybe three or four times.
I will say even more, right? How this is an homage to classic video games, because they would always put like the most complicated one up at the front, and you'd get past it, and then you'd be like, oh wait, but I missed this, and then you'd like find out later, oh, I missed this other thing. You'd keep going back and doing those levels that were just like, it seemed so simple at the beginning.
Well, it's easy to grind out like jungle or park, because even if you had a bad run, or even if you missed the one picture you wanted to get, you probably have other pictures that are better, or you probably at least got a pose. So like there's like, I almost had it that time. These 3 pictures are better. Let's run it again. But with the Meganium one, you don't need that Apom or that Pichu to appear, because you probably already have 1, 2, 3, 4 stars from other levels. And 2, like the only reason you would really want them to appear is if you wanted like a course high score. Because again, you could easily get a 4K Pichu in Park in like the first level. So they are hidden for the more hardcore. But I just like, why, if the scan can see Sylveon 18 miles away, why can't the scan at least tell me, like, it doesn't need to tell me what Pokemon are in the tree. It doesn't need to tell me how many Pokemon in the tree. But why doesn't it just show like question mark, question mark, question mark? I can be right next to a Ladian, whatever that dumb Pokemon is called, in the park, in the jungle at night, and I can be right next to it and see it, and it'll be like question mark, question mark, question mark. It's like, I know what it is. I know it's there. I know that I need to do something to get it to come out of the tree. But the fact that the scan feature doesn't work, like, I still don't know exactly where the Apom is in that level. And I know you're supposed to throw apples to like kite him out, but you want me to just go through the level over and over and just throw apples?
Yes,
like,
because I promise you, you do that, the minute that Apom pokes its little Apom head out, you're going to be, yes, hooray! How did you feel?
I'm not. I'm
when
going to be frustrated because I'm going to miss an activation of the.
I would just like feel my soul just like expand through my body of like, oh, relief. I've got the combis and the hoot hoot out of the tree.
Will, you know we've met you.
What do you mean?
We know how you are. Sense of relief, my butt.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Like in the Meganium level, it's already really tight to go from getting Shaman on Meganium's head to getting the Hoot Hoot and the Combi out of the tree.
But do you have to do them all? Do you have to have Shaman on his head to get the Hoot Hoot and the Combi out of the tree? Or can you do those as separate activities?
I believe, I don't know the answer to that.
The game's not going to tell you, that's for darn sure.
I would assume yes, you probably do, because of how he sits down. And I think you need him to sit down, because him and Shaman both, when he sits, him and Shaman both smell the tree. That's like the shot that Mirror's looking
it's
for.
Cute.
What a reward for hard work and effort.
But I've gotten all the Combi to come out of the tree, but not the Hoot Hoot. And then he won't sit unless the Hoot Hoot and the Combi are both out of the tree, because those are like 2 separate triggers. Like Combi comes out first, and then you got to go a little bit farther to the right and hope you knock out the Hoot Hoot in time. And if you don't knock it out, if you don't knock those Pokemon out in time, then Meganium won't sit down. And so in between Shaman jumping on his head and the crystal that you have to hit, and then after you hit the crystal, getting them out of the tree, you have to find Apom and Pichu in that window, and that's less than 10 seconds.
It's just this is get on, get good. That's all it is, get good.
And I think that all of that would be better if the scan just did what it needed to do, which is like just point out what you should do or try, instead of just like randomly lobbing apples at a tree, which no other mechanic in the entire game has ever asked you to do. Because like if you were to throw apples at something,
I don't know. There's some, I think in the park at night, there's a tree with a hole in it that I keep throwing apples into, and I'm pretty sure something's going to happen someday.
In Jungle, there is a tree with a hole in it at night. And if you scan it, it will show you there's a Pika-Peck in it.
No, that's not the hole I'm thinking of.
It's like right before the tree branch, before the two cannons.
Look, I haven't done Jungle enough. I'm still on Park, because now that you actually were talking about secret paths, I unlocked a secret path in Park and I haven't taken it yet. So now I got to go back there and do that one. I don't know how I unlocked it. It just told me at the end of the road one day. I was like, oh, this secret path has opened up.
But now that Greg said the scan didn't work on that very first mini-year, even though it worked on every other mini-year, I wonder if the scan is like slightly bugged.
No.
Because why wouldn't it work on that very first mini-year? Because you said it eventually works.
Because it was too close.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense that it's too close, because other things that are too close also register. I don't know if I couldn't tell you. I spent 3 hours and I was like, this is never triggering. I'm clearly missing one, and I have
How
no
happy
clue
did you feel when you
it.
Finally got it?
None. I had to look it up. None.
Come on.
There's nothing wrong with looking it up.
No.
But
it's one of those. It is one of those situations where you've given me the tools. Your tools work 95% of the time, so I rely on them. And when they aren't working, there isn't feedback to tell you they aren't working. So you have no clue that you're even missing something. You have no clue that the thing that you've been looking for is there, because
you knew you were looking for something.
Well, yeah, because the event that was supposed to trigger never triggered, and eventually had to find out online why it didn't trigger, because the in-game tools didn't tell me.
Somebody out there persisted in trying every possible combination of scenarios and finally figured it out so that they could put it online to tell you.
Data miner.
Oh, dag nabbit, those people.
I think that though my complaint with the Meganium is such like a 1% complaint. It's such a time. Well, like
correct. Because you are correct.
But it just shows the like how, what's the words? Like, I think that why I wanted to start off with the two positives is because of how great the game can actually be. And then if you want to continue playing after credits, and the tool, like I think Greg,
then the challenge level increases. Yes.
Withholding information that your tools work 95% of the time, and in this situation it doesn't work the 5% of the time, and like having no other situation in the entire game being similar to this. I don't know, maybe the one of the other bosses is similar to Meganium, and I haven't done it enough. It is frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
And if you already have like 1% of your players are going to play past credits, that I have no facts of that number. I'm just saying, like, there's probably going to be a small amount of players, because most players will probably see credits. They'll maybe, go back through a level a couple more times, get the legendaries, get the mythicals, and then be done. But for somebody like me, who I want to get all the photos, I want to get all 4K, I want to get all the titles. It is frustrating because I've already given this game 60 hours and I've spent 3+ hours on one Meganium level, and I still haven't gotten by the time I was like, I got 1.9 million on this course. I'm now number 1 on my friends list of this course. And then for somebody to be like, there's still 2 more Pokemon in this level. And I'm like, I cannot do this level anymore. It's been 3 hours. I am number 1 right now.
Welcome to 1984. Yes, welcome.
Yeah.
But just because that's how they were in 1984 or 1972 or whatever, doesn't mean that we should still be at this point. Like,
Yes,
no,
yes, we should. Yes,
it is just the frustration comes from you've given us tools for discovery, and when those tools of discovery don't work for unknown reasons, that is just a frustrating experience. You just don't know why they chose, or why it's bugged, or why in this one instance, this thing that I spent 3 hours looking for, the tool just does not work. The tool you told me would work. And that is just game design that's super frustrating.
Right. And so to tie it all up and finish this conversation, when I bonked that Pokemon and he fell off the cliff, and I was like, oh, I didn't think of doing this. I did it. It worked. It was like the smile on my face was huge. When I discovered the secret path in the 1 level by taking a picture of the Pokemon, taking a picture of the Pokemon, taking a picture of the Pokemon, smile on my face was huge. There's no smile on my face during the Meganium level, but they could have easily.
I watched it.
They could have easily turned that into a moment where I'm smiling if their tools worked. If I'm going through like the beach level and I'm like, I can't figure out what to do to make this Pokemon 4-star. I tried the apple. I tried the Illuminati ball. I've gone through this level 10 times. And then it dawns on me like, oh, I haven't tried the music. And then I go back and I try the music and then it works. Like, you did it again. Awesome. Now I got a smile on my face because I went through this level 100 times. I didn't think of trying the scan feature. I didn't think of trying the music. I didn't think of throwing the Illuminati ball and then trying the music, which works on Pokemon, by the way. Like, the game is so good at giving you things to do. And then once you do them, you go, oh, I should do that in a different level with these Pokemon. It does such a good job at doing that. And none of what I described applies to the Meganium level. The Meganium level is just its own weird, nothing works, no scan. I've never done apples like this. The apples don't even go far enough to the tree without me like looking into the sky and not seeing where anything is. It is probably the worst design level, which is a shame because Shaman, there's a joke there somewhere. Because because 95% of the rest of the game is so solid. And then this level is an outlier.
I'm not going to argue anymore.
We should take a break, though.
Yes.
When we come back, we're going to talk about some Katy Perry and some Pokemon TCG. We will be right back. Tricks.
Lucky Charms.
Cocoa Puffs. Tricks.
Golden Grams.
Cocoa Puffs. Tricks.
Cookie Crisp.
Cocoa Puffs. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. That's real rock.
Tricks has flavor. Tricks has flavor. No. Best cereal.
Count Chocula. Count Chocula. Count Chocula. Count Chocula. Blueberry's pretty good too. Count Chocula. Sounds nice. Count Chocula. Sounds fancy. Count Chocula. Oh my gosh. And we are back from our break. This is off Pokemon.com. Katy Perry and Pokemon together celebrate 25 years with Katy Perry's electric new song and music video. The song is called Electric. It is on Katy Perry's official YouTube channel. They launched a specific website for it. They have hoodies and shirts with Katy Perry and Pikachu together. I don't know. I'm assuming you guys listened to the song.
Yes.
I listened to it and promptly forgot everything about it except
I've got words.
Except for two things about the video. One, she's careless about time travel. And two,
I disagree with you on this one, but yes.
How is she not blind from staring into the light of a lighthouse multiple times?
Because she's electric.
The song is fine. Like, I am not a Katy Perry fan. I am not a pop fan. I listen to it, and then the only Katy Perry song I can think of whenever someone says, "Oh, to listen to it," all I can hear is "Roar." It's the one song that I remember hearing a lot. So all I hear is her screaming "Roar" and not "Electric." I couldn't tell you anything about the song. But my one complaint is I expected my Pokemon 25 music to be more Pokemon and less generic pop songs. Like Post Malone was a remake of a song that didn't even happen when Pokemon came out. This has, apart from the electric type and the video, nothing that really links it to Pokemon. And the merchandise is basically Katy. You would believe Pikachu is named Katy Perry on these shirts.
I think the merchandise is cute. I like the hoodie a lot.
I mean, they're just it feels weird to be like, I want more Pokemon for my Pokemon 25th anniversary. It's striking me as weird that it's much more a vehicle about them just putting out a single than it is like fine. Really that's tying
what they did
it
with
to
like the first Mewtwo movie. It was all, none of those songs were Pokemon. It was like M2M.
Yeah, but the soundtrack for a movie, which is the established thing that the soundtrack doesn't relate to it, it's like saying we were going to put out the To Be a Master album, but none of these songs relate to Pokemon. Like, this is the 25th anniversary music of the franchise, and they're tangentially based at best. It's a loose connection.
Some would say a year is, more exciting than a movie. You got the soundtrack of 2021 over here.
I think the year should be more focused on Pokemon and less on general.
I wonder if non-Pokemon songs versus generic, not maybe generic is the right word, but pop songs hold up the test of time better. I mean, we can all look at the like Diamond and Pearl theme songs where they're like, rap is real hot. Let's make the theme song to Diamond and Pearl with a little, you gotta do the challenges. Like, no one wanted, like at the time, I don't even think people thought that was cool, but it's definitely not cool now. Like those are some of the worst theme songs.
The Poke rap is timeless. So let's poke a hole in that balloon right now. Will, what are your thoughts? Because you're much more of the pop princess than I am.
I will try to make a nice sandwich for folks here. Number one, that crochet dress. I could make that, but I did appreciate that crochet fashion is top of the line coming back or whatever. So congratulations on that lovely crochet dress. Number two, Taylor Swift called from 2020 and wants her aesthetic back. Number three, I don't think the time travel issue was a problem in the video. She was just happened to self-create her own career.
That's the time travel paradox.
I don't see a paradox. If she hadn't tried time traveled, she never would have seen the talent show sign and have. There you go.
What happened the first time when she didn't time travel?
There was no first time. The loop has always existed.
There's just a terrible loop.
The loop is eternal.
As a Katy Perry fan,
how did you like your princess, your goddess, your teenage dream, fireworking, roaring?
I feel like I don't love Roar that much. Fireworks is okay.
Fireworks is okay.
As somebody who I feel like I have to prove receipts that I like Katy Perry. Like
what's her cat's name? What's her cat's name?
What's her first album? Where did she get her start?
Wait, you don't know Katy Perry's cat's name.
Oh my gosh.
This is the most common Katy Perry fact in the universe.
It's Katy Perry.
It's Kitty Purry. Okay? And I'm not even
fell
joking.
Off. I would say I fell off Katy. I fell off a lot of music, but I fell off Katy Perry after the Dancing Sharks. But I do love I love the Dancing Sharks. They're very great.
No, everybody loves the left shark.
Yeah. Yes,
Nobody
the Sharks are great.
Right shark did the job. Left shark phoned it in, and we all love left shark for feeling how we all feel.
I remember when I Kissed the Girl was on the radio, and it was very controversial. And I was like, I need to know more about this musician. And then I got the album, and it was good. And then I got the follow-up album, and it was good. And then I got Carly Rae Jepsen's album, and that was also pretty good. Anyways, I like pop music now and then. This song, very unforgettable. There's nothing specifically
very forgettable.
Oh, yes, very
forgettable.
There was nothing that really stood out there. It wasn't like, it was fine. It felt like a filler song on one of her albums. That's what it felt like. It didn't feel like a radio hit. It felt like a filler song.
Yeah.
It felt like a track that was cut from Taylor Swift's Folklore, is what it sounds like.
I mean,
the music video is super cute.
The music video is cute. The song is fine. But for a momentous, like for an already disappointing 25th anniversary event, like this was the big thing. I really wanted something inspiring or something great. And it's like, if you really love Katy Perry and you really love that song, great. But as a Pokemon fan, but not a Katy Perry or a pop fan, it again, I listened to it, I watched it, and then immediately forgot about it. Like, I know it's called Electric. I think she says electric a lot. Something about your life being electric, I think, is the chorus. I don't know.
Yeah. So her first album, I remember seeing Katy Perry on Warped Tour when she was traveling with, I believe at the time she was dating the lead singer of Gym Class Heroes, if I remember correctly. So when I saw Katy Perry on Warped Tour, it would have been, I think, 2008, 2009. That's when, obviously, I Kissed a Girl was on the radio.
I'm kind of shocked a little bit that you went and saw the Warped Tour.
Why?
Oh, I went to Warped Tour 5 years in a row, I think. Why?
Oh, you missed the whole skate.
I was
skate rack.
Yeah.
Steve
Okay. I don't know. You have such a, I don't want to be in crowds. I don't even want to go to a movie theater. The thought of going to the Warped Tour.
Oh yeah, but Warped Tour is cool because like you have like 6 stages. Well, Warped Tour is done. I think they closed up. I don't think they exist anymore. You have like 6 stages, and it's not like Summerfest. Like you can see the stage even if you're 5 miles back, because Summerfest they put benches on in front of all the stages, and everyone just stands on the benches, and now everyone's 3 feet taller because standing is pointless. Yeah, I remember that. Gosh, I can't believe I just remembered this right now. But yeah, it was the Warped Tour crowd was not a fan of Katy Perry.
Well, I'm not surprised.
They had Warped Tour had like 6 stages. They had like the main stage A and the main stage B. I don't know why on a Pokemon podcast, I don't think I ever thought I would be explaining Warped Tour. But what would happen?
You brought it up.
What would happen is that like stage A would go on, and then stage B would be setting up. And then when stage A was done, as soon as they finished, stage B would be ready to go. So like every 30 minutes, each stage would be rotating artists. And then there were smaller stages that would also do that. So when I saw Katy Perry live for the first time, again, as a Katy Perry fan, I Kissed a Girl and I liked it. I'm one of the boys. That was, I believe, the name of her album.
Correct. Well, no, the album was called Katy Perry. One of the Boys was the first track on the album.
No, I think One of the Boys was the album.
Oh, you're right. Yes, correct.
So I'm waiting in the crowd to see Katy Perry. I'm like second, third row. You're right. I don't like being in crowds, Greg. This was a different time when I was okay with like people bumping into me. I was not a mosh.
Say,
This
I
is this.
cannot imagine you with a bunch of beer bros at the Warp Tour getting beer spilled on you and being happy about it.
Warp Tour is not a beer bro tour. Remember, it's Vans. It was the skate. It was more of your
Jaeger skaters. Skaters and goths.
Spilling Jaeger on you. I will correct myself.
And so Katy Perry was on a smaller stage. And so the stages were right next to each other. So you had two huge crowds because one crowd would be waiting for the artist. The other crowd would be watching the other artist. And then I had to suffer through some Under Oath knockoff. I'm not a huge fan of Under Oath, but they were like screamo, hard, like, and that music was cool with me, but this was like budget Under Oath over here. And their crowd was very rowdy. And Katy Perry came on after them, and rowdy budget Under Oath crowd, very not happy that Katy Perry is at Warped Tour, and proceeded to throw water bottles at her and hit her with multiple water bottles. And I felt awful, but dang, what a champ. She finished, she did her whole set. It was good.
Yeah. Do the job you were paid for, people.
But yeah, I really like Katy Perry. At least her first two albums, I absolutely love them. This song though, it felt like a filler song to me. And I know some people really liked it, but
there are a lot of people really like it. Like I have huge, just in general, problems with "I Kissed a Girl" as a song and as how things were presented. Well, so like
other songs on that album as well were issues.
I think Katy Perry started off very much on the wrong foot with a person that already doesn't like pop music. So Katy Perry has never been a part of my I wrote her off after that. I'm like, I don't need this.
How do you feel, Greg, about Dua Lipa?
I have never listened.
All the plans for the remainder of this week are now in question.
They better. I could listen
before the end of today. Go to your Spotify and find Dua Lipa's "Levitating," not the one that has "Da Baby" on it, though. You don't want to hear the "Da Baby." Just the plain Dua Lipa, all on her own.
Link it in chat, and I'll listen to it. I promise. Eventually. Yeah. I kissed a Pikachu and it was shocking.
I'm into that. That sounds like a Billboard hit. It's cool that they like launched merch with her. It's cool that she's doing this, that she like, I would hope / assume that she's like really into Pokemon and she was excited to do a song and she was excited to do the music video. And
well, I mean, did you not see the video? She grew up with a Pichu. We didn't see it evolve into a Pikachu, but she grew up with a Pichu. They must have been good friends. I
wish I liked the song more. It just didn't jump out to me. I mean, I feel like if I liked the song as much as I liked, Hot and Cold or Teenage Dream or whatever other songs, I can't remember her track listing. I feel like I would have gone out and bought the shirt, but I don't love those.
I don't know. I wish I wasn't a cynical Gen Xer sometimes, because I just look at the merchandise, I look at the song, and I'm like, this was just a phoned in cash grab.
See, that's what I hope it's not. I hope that she was genuinely excited to do it.
Mm.
The song feels phoned in. Everything on the website is like, I'm going to slap a Pikachu on a Katy Perry t-shirt and sell it. And it just feels very cash grabby to me because I'm a cynical Gen Xer and I don't trust anything.
I kind of had a thought towards the end of the video of, oh, she just did this for the free trip to Hawaii. I may also be a cynical Gen Xer.
Yeah, you got a couple of real big cynics. But I think so far between the two songs as they've been released, I
like that Post Malone song.
I just wish they were Pokemon related more than they are. I just wished for a 25th anniversary event, I felt it was much more that they were making songs specifically for this event in this company, and not we're going to have tie-ins. We'll have an animated Post Malone in a Pokemon world. We'll have a real life Katy Perry in a Pokemon video, and that's our tie-in, and that bothers me.
I mean, I'm okay with it, but I also, well, like, it's weird. Who buys music anymore? Like they're selling the album. You can pre-order it right now. It's like $10 or whatever.
I mean, can I go my soapbox? Like, if you like an artist, please buy their music.
Yes. Streaming doesn't pay them enough. Please.
But
yes.
also, if you like their music enough that you want to listen over and over again, make sure that you own it so that a company can't take away your rights from it. Like, get a copy of it that's your own. More money goes to the artist that you like, but also, like, Spotify can't decide that they no longer want to work with this artist and you lose access to all their music because you never bought it. So I
think probably all the people on this album probably don't have to worry about money. I don't think Katy Perry or Post Malone have any money problems.
Yeah, we said that about MC Hammer too.
Yeah, everybody says that, but everybody needs a paycheck sometime. Jeremy Irons did the Dungeons and Dragons movie so he could buy a new car. So let's be real about how money works.
Also, for clarification, I can't really tell if that dress is knit or crochet, but it is a yarn fiber.
It's a cute dress.
All right. We got some local news here.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm ready for it.
All right. So the premise of this is not funny.
No.
I think where the funny comes in is it's literally the Target I go to. So the funny is
the funny starts out with it's Wisconsin.
Yeah, the funny is like, oh, I was just there 3 days ago and this happened. It's a small world sometimes.
I have also been to this Target. Yes.
So this is off Waypoint from Vice. Man pulls gun in trading card related attack in a Target parking lot. I like this article because it's not as clickbaity as the other ones. So a fight broke out in Target parking lot in Brookfield, Wisconsin on Friday. Soon after the store restocked trading cards, police arrived to the scene when a witness called them after one man pulled a gun. According to a local news report, a group of men was attacking the gun owner when he pulled out the weapon. The Target and the Trader Joe's, ironically enough, I went to that Trader Joe's yesterday, went into a lockdown for an hour until police arrived. The man never fired his weapon. No one was seriously injured. According to police, the incident occurred on May 7th at 8:20 a.m. outside of Target's store. Remember, Target would only sell cards at 8 a.m. on Fridays, which has been a policy of collecting merchandise. According to the police report, 4 men attacked a 5th man when he exited the Target carrying a box of sports cards. 4 men have been arrested and charged with battery, strangulation, and disorderly conduct. Pulling a gun during a parking lot scuffle is just the latest story attached to the current resurgence of collecting cards. Sports, Magic the Gathering, and Pokemon cards have become so sought over that stores cannot keep them in demand. It is also causing a labor crisis as companies that professionally grade cards cannot keep up with the avalanche of cards we've seen this past year. We've talked about that with PSA.
I
don't
feel
think
like
labor crisis is the right word.
I also think that Wizards of the Coast paid Vice to put Magic of the Gathering in there because you can find those cards literally everywhere. There's never been a Magic crisis.
I bought, Time Spiral, but I bought Magic cards at Target today.
Hey, maybe because Target is pulling cards, which is our next article, maybe the Magic will be next in the list.
No, but they're not. They're not pulling Magic cards, but yes.
Right. It is common to have 50 plus people standing in line all day, 6 to 8 hours waiting to see if they can get one box of card. Brookfield Sports memorabilia store owner Jeff told WISN 12 News. Target had previously promised to call the police on rowdy customers, but it is unclear who notified the cops in Brookfield. Target has already altered its policy, limiting the number of collectible items that can be purchased in a day, only selling the items briefly on Friday mornings, and asking customers not to wait in the parking lot overnight. You know, what's funny is the local news reached out to me asking if I could give insight on this. And I was like,
I realize I've been to this Target too.
I was like, I would love to give you my opinion on the local news, but you can't call me an hour before and say, do you have time now? Because I'm in like 3 meetings today. So I will read the second story off the bat and then we'll talk about this. This is off The Verge. Target will stop selling Pokemon cards in stores. Target has decided they had enough. The company has officially confirmed that they will halt the sales of Pokemon cards throughout the United States starting on Friday, May 14th. The retailer cites an abundance of caution for both safety of the guests and store employees and notes that it will be selling cards on its website only. Currently, Pokemon cards and other trading cards have a moment. It's sports cards. You can just say sports cards.
Yeah.
Verge.
It's not Magic.
Or it's definitely not Yu-Gi-Oh.
Like the tweet that they attach clearly has Magic cards waiting to be purchased behind it.
People have swamped the card grading companies, hoping to get their ratings on cards more valuable. The Pokemon company has been rushing to print enough cards to meet demand, and it seems that all big numbers around truly rare original cards have caused a lot of new excitement about cards as well. And then they talk about how Target started limiting cards. And that's the gist of it. So Target is done selling Pokemon cards for now. They said that they will probably come back. So I have some thoughts on this. I don't want to sugarcoat that Pokemon cards are not in demand. I mean, they are, but I feel like out of all these stories, and I feel like this show included, we have really kind of pushed aside how big the sports card market is right now.
The sports card market is huge.
And so this is what's happening. And this is not what like obviously people still want Pokemon cards. Although I would say it's kind of died down with battle styles, and I'll get to that. But
no Charizards.
What is happening is the sports cards are worth way more than Pokemon cards. So these resellers will wait in line at Target at 8 a.m. and they plan, all of them, most of them, almost all of them, plan on getting sports cards. And if there are not sports cards, they will then default to Pokemon cards because they're not waiting in line for 2 hours to leave empty-handed. They need to resell something. And so the sports card market is directly hurting the Pokemon market because scalpers need to walk away with something, and Pokemon cards still can be flipped for a slight profit, not as much as it used to be with Vivid Voltage and Darkness Ablaze and Shining Fates and Champion's Path. Because let me tell you, no one is buying battle styles at an increased price. And if they are truly desperate because there's nothing fantastic in that set. There's no Charizards. There's no Pikachus. And no one knows who Urshifu is besides people who listen to this podcast. Now, I am not saying that if Target didn't sell sports cards, the Pokemon card issue would be fixed. There are still plenty of people who are reselling Pokemon cards. There are still plenty of people who are buying as many as they can to pull the good ones to then sell them individually as singles. Those people still exist. But I am saying that this show and a lot of these websites reporting are really just ignoring the fact that sports cards are out of control right now. And
I mean, I would say that we're ignoring it. I mean, we acknowledge it, but that's not the point of our show.
Well, it's like, it's not. So I think ignore is the wrong word, but it's not our emphasis.
It's not our focus.
Well, when you look at people reporting on this, the thing that grabs headlines is Pokemon cards, right?
Right.
Mhm. Well,
It's
because it's
never-
like children are in danger. There's your correlation
Like-
right there.
Like I was listening to another gaming podcast, and one week they were like, oh yeah, I guess they're limiting sports cards. I don't know why. We all know everyone's there for Pokemon cards. And then the following week they were like, oh, I didn't know that sports cards were like this huge thing. And it's like, and so when you read these headlines of like, oh, they're pulling Pokemon cards, like, yeah, but they're also pulling the actual problem here,
Yeah.
which is the sports cards.
Sports cards.
And I don't even know where I can go on the internet to learn more about this. Like, I don't know what about. I've been told that the sports card boxes are $20 and then they sell them for $150. I don't know is it a specific card that people want? Is it like is it old?
It's
Like
players. It's players.
It's players. It's so I worked at a card shop for a while in my 20s. And it really varies, but just like in Pokemon, certain things become super expensive or super rare or super sought out. It's the same thing with sports. I mean, they can be much more targeted because you're looking for X player or X team or X whatever. But the reality is there are way more sports card collectors than there are Pokemon card players.
Yes.
Like there are sports cards and sports memorabilia has a huge audience, a huge history of these cards being in the public eye. People know what they are. They only make so many, teams change. So it's not like, they're going to reprint, the Twins lineup from 85 again in a 2020 set, but with new card mechanics. Like they are tied to specific things, and, some things can come back. But in general, you're like, the amount of the sports card market and the amount of people that collect it. When I worked at Schindler's News and Books, the absolute top selling thing, the thing we made the most money on, was sports cards. Shortly after that was adult materials, but number one was sports cards.
Can I ask a dumb question?
Yeah.
You can't do anything with sports cards, right?
Why do you put them in a binder?
No, I know that, but with Pokemon cards, like there's a game to it.
I mean, so there are usually like stats and trivia and stuff on the back of the card and stuff about the player. So
and the chewing gum. Don't forget the chewing gum.
No, that was a thing. Like there are people who are so mad that like they would specifically ask for packs where they could see that the chewing gum was still slightly pliable because it wouldn't have ruined the card that it was on. And then eventually sporting card people just stopped putting the gum in altogether because it was ruining the card value. No, sports card collecting is displaying, right? Like you have cards, you're putting them in frames, people put them in frames, they have their favorite players, they bring those cards. Like there used to be, and it will probably come back, but downtown Minneapolis has a hotel where sports stars would stay in, a specific hotel, and then every Friday morning there would be a line up of people waiting to get their cards autographed because they were glossy pictures with their name and stuff on it, and they would get it autographed, and that would bring the price up. So like there's a huge culture around sports cards that is just like displaying it or getting it signed by your person. But no, there's no game to it. You don't play with them. You don't.
It's just that long history and lore. It's like maybe in the 1950s, everybody was like, oh, these baseball cards are just for kids. But like by the 80s, it was like, do you have the 1957 Joe Palashniak? Because that one has like 1 pixel off in the print, and that's worth about $250,000.
In my store, we had because we also sold Magic cards, and that was when the Black Lotus, the original, was high priced, right?
Yeah.
So we had a Black Lotus for $100 in behind the case that paled in comparison to the $1,000 card that was sealed in a large wedge of plastic that was in 2 cases. that was locked down because somebody could come in and purchase that. Like the pricing was unbelievable. And we had specialists in store that would know how to, like, if somebody came to me with a sports question, I was like, okay, you have to go talk to this person because they have to do all the things to get you this card and talk to you about this card and talk to you about the mint and all of the stuff that goes around rating these cards.
Is there like ultra rares and reverse hollows and like
I don't think not
do
in that
people
way, no.
do people like the whole like I want the whole set of series 2?
I mean, there were people who wanted whole sets of series. I know that there were sometimes special print cards. I think holo cards and that were really part of the game, like card game things. I again, it's been a long time since I had been around sports cards. They may have introduced this to sports cards. I highly doubt it because it never needed it. But there were definitely rare cards. Like there were definitely, and there were definitely people who was like, I have been searching for every card of every player that was a part of this sports team at this time period. So they wanted a card for all the players that played in 1968. And so they would travel the world trying to complete their team.
Yeah, but the point is the player, right?
Right.
Not the production of the card.
Right.
Or the rarity of the card. It's just like that player that they want to have the card for that player.
So this Target in Brookfield is a very nice Target. It is a Target where you ever been to a Target and you can tell how good the Target is or how bad the Target is based on how much is on clearance? Have you ever noticed that? Like the bad Targets have so much on clearance and the good Targets that are like always very clean and very upkept, like their clearance section is like nothing.
I didn't
this
even
Target
didn't know there was a clearance section at Target.
Yeah, there can be.
This Target never has clearance. This Target is you go there, all their consoles are always sold out. All of the nice stuff is always picked over. There's no clearance. It is a Target that you do not go to if you're looking for stuff. If you need anything, you don't go to this Target because they don't got it. And if you want clearance, you ain't going to this Target. This is a very nice Target. It is in Brookfield, Wisconsin, a very uppity city.
It is an upscale Target in an upscale market. Brookfield is a high corporate area. I have to stay there when I go there for work.
I can't say that I'm bummed that they're pulling cards because I cannot even remember the last time I got cards at Target. Like their shelves are just empty consistently. My go-to.
Wait, I remember the last time you got cards at Target because you put it on Instagram. It was like 3 days ago.
It was yesterday. No, it was on Friday. It was the day after the gun incident. I went into that Target. They had a bunch of the Galarian Ponytas. It was and all of them had stickers that said "Do not backstock." So I think at that point, I actually grabbed 2 Galarian Ponytas. They had 6 of them. I grabbed 2. They had a bunch of booster packs for battle styles. And then when I went to checkout, it yelled at me. And then the lady was like, "You can only get 1." And I was like, "Oh, that's weird." Because literally 2 days ago, your rules said limit 3. But the register was smart enough to know that it was more than 1. So anyways, I got 1 Galarian Ponyta. It was my last purchase at Target, but I'm assuming they just pulled everything forward and they just said,
we're done.
1 per person, buy it. We don't want any anymore. Don't backstock. Don't keep these in the back.
I think it's sad for the game. Like there are a lot of families that go to Target and like it was an easy vector for Pokemon to get cards in families' hands. I think the current sort of climate that we're in now is just it's a harmful client and ultimately harmful to the TCG. And things like this, pulling it out of a very common big box store is not a great look for the TCG.
Well, I mean, yes, definitely. But also, right, the concept, the reason why they have the cards at Target and why they are situated where they are situated in Target is so that parents can take their kid to Target and say, all right, if you're good, I'll get you a pack of cards.
Pack of cards when we leave at the end.
I mean, like most Targets, at least the Milwaukee Targets. Maybe I'm speaking poorly here, but most Targets didn't have any stock. They purposely saved it all for the Friday mornings. So it wasn't in ever since like November. There wasn't ever the parent impulse buy of like, let's get you a pack of Vivid Voltage, because I can't even remember seeing booster packs of Vivid Voltage.
I will say at the Target I went to today, they did have the big size Pokemon.
The Pikachu?
Yeah, the Pikachu.
Yeah.
My go-to place has still been Barnes & Noble. I don't know if scalpers don't know this. I feel like they probably do.
Would you stop giving it away?
I know.
It's
our
went
secret.
To Barnes & Noble yesterday. They had 6 ETBs on the shelf for Battle Styles. They had all of the theme decks. They had Champions Path. I was like, oh, I don't need any more Champions Path. And consistently, I would say 4 out of 5 times I go to Barnes & Noble, they have cards at MSRP. And I bet they wouldn't have cards if they sold baseball cards next to those Pokemon cards. So again, I'm not saying that like baseball cards are 100% ruining Pokemon cards, but again, I think a lot of these news media outlets are overlooking the fact that the scalpers want baseball cards. And if they can't get them, they buy the Pokemon cards.
Yeah, that's just less fun though.
In general, people don't like knocking on sports the way they like knocking on nerd things. Right? So, like buying sports memorabilia has always been seen as more legitimate than buying video games. So the headline that's going to get views and clicks is ragging on the video game.
Absolutely. Babe Ruth over
Pikachu.
Charizard.
Yeah.
But let's get Babe Ruth to make a 25th anniversary Pokemon song.
Buddy, if that could happen, science will have worked wonders. Okay?
Okay. We got 2 short news articles and then we'll wrap it up here. So we got this off Pokemon.com. Scout, Nessa, and Dreadnought, and Bee and Surfetch in Pokemon Masters EX. Things are getting wet and wild on Paseo. I read that exactly how Pokemon.com wrote it. I will read it again. Things are getting wet and wild on Paseo with the arrival of 2 Galar region sync pairs. The Splash and Punch event from May 12th through May 28th. Water type sync pair Nessa and Dreadnought, and fighting type sync pair Bee and Surfetch will be here on out. Both sync pairs will be extremely useful in the Splash and Punch event. During this event, you can complete designated missions to unlock special stories of these Galarian newcomers. Likewise, you can earn bonus for putting specific sync pairs on your team. Be sure to play every day to earn gems and skip tickets in the it's almost a month-long event. Full disclosure, I am partnered with DNA. Also, full disclosure, I haven't played Masters since Pokemon Snap has come out.
I have. I tried to pull B. Again, got all 3 stars. I threw my phone across the room in anger, and now I need a new phone.
Makes sense.
The Getsus event was really fun. Again, they are doing villain stories like at the end of it. You're like,
I can't even imagine.
Why is nobody putting this person in jail? They are still clearly a villain. They are clearly not repentant about anything they've done in the past and have said they're going to continue to be evil going into the future. Why are these people just allowed to run around on this island? Please, somebody take care of them.
Maybe Paseo doesn't have any prisons.
But they have nothing. They have a bunch of villains that are all teaming up to destroy everybody. I just started.
I mean, doesn't a villain run their like champion club or whatever?
I am not going to give spoilers away about the leader of Paseo Island and their connection to Team Break or no connection to Team Break. I'm not going to spoil it.
Okay, fair enough. I feel like this is a problem that I have. I don't know if you guys can relate. Like, I remember the last time I played Clash Royale, it was when Sword and Shield came out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when a new big game comes out and I get addicted to it, it cuts off a game that I would have previously been addicted to.
Why?
So I'm not saying I'm not coming back to Masters, but the hard cutoff was the day Pokemon Snap came out. Like, they're like, my brain can only juggle so many games at a time.
Why do you think my Animal Crossing village was abandoned?
Oh,
And never to be seen again.
Yeah.
They were left to their own.
Too.
They have been left to their own devices. Good luck. I am off to Galar, and I will never speak to any of you again.
See, I don't think this happens with Will, though. Will is like all in on Gardenscapes, all in on Monster Hunter, all in like Will does a little of everything every day.
Well, yeah, because I'm not a game gobbler and I take things very, very slowly.
Very.
I did walk away from Animal Crossing because it became animal chores.
Yes.
Right. And,
I
was also watching a video where this person I know had basically dug like 1,000 holes on their island so that they could make rocks show up in just like one particular location. And I was like, no, this is the opposite of fun now.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty fun, actually.
That was fun for while I was playing Animal Crossing. Mobile games for me they need to be quick hits. So like Pokémon Masters, I do 10 minutes on when I'm on a work meeting. Like in things where I don't need to pay attention, I hit it quick. Is the thing like Pokemon Go, I play it for 10 minutes in the morning, and that's literally all I'll do all day unless it's community day. Mobile games for me need to be the quick burst where I'm in and then I'm out. Bigger games like Animal Crossing, I'm like, I can no longer devote time to you, because if I'm going to be on my Switch, the amount of time I need for Animal Crossing, I would much rather be playing Pokemon. And when Miitopia comes out, I will no longer play Snap.
I'm so addicted to Snap. I am not a leaderboard person, but the Snap leaderboards they got me.
You are a leaderboard person now.
Exactly.
I am a leaderboard person now. Last bit of news here is off PokemonGoLive.com. The Luminous Legend, Luminous. That's the word.
Yes.
Luminous. I got there. Luminous Legends Y. Yveltal joins Xerneas in Pokemon Go, and Team Go Rocket wants in on the action. During the second week of the Legends event, the focus will shift from Fairy to Fairy Pokemon and Eevee. Why? Because Sylveon will be making its Pokemon Go debut. The intertwining Pokemon is an evolution of Eevee's, first discovered in the Kalos region. The Galarian fairy tale that described the beautiful Sylveon vanquishing a dreadful dragon Pokemon, making Sylveon the perfect Pokemon to appear at the end of the dark-themed event. No, I mean, there's a lot of stretching in that sentence, but okay. Look forward to this fairy type vanquisher of darkness, dread, and dragons during part 2 of the Legends event. So this will start on May 18th through May 24th. Yveltal will be making its 5-star raid debut in Pokemon Go. It is a dark and flying type legendary Pokemon first discovered in the Kalos region. Pancham will be hatching from strange eggs. We have received reports that the following Pokemon will also be hatching from strange eggs as well: Quillfish, Larvitar, Absol, Skorupi, Sandile, Scraggy, Pawniard, Vullaby, and Dino.
Ooh, I like me a Dino.
Ooh, yeah.
8 strange eggs, because I'm not walking 12 kilometers ever.
Wait, which one is the strange one?
They're
It's
the red ones.
The red ones that you get from defeating
Leaders.
Go Rocket admins.
I'm out.
Dark type Pokemon will be appearing more in the wild, like Houndour and Carvana. I like how they only gave 2 examples.
Well, there's only 2 dark types.
Well, I mean, those are the ones that Pokemon Go players know.
They did say "and more." It's just like Gilligan's Island when many characters were lumped into "as the rest."
Missed out on some Pokemon during the first event. Well, you're in luck. Many of them are returning. You can look out for Pokemon like Spritzies, Spritzy, Swirlix, and Goomy appearing in the wild. There is timed research that includes encounters with dark-type Pokemon like Galarian Zigzagoon. The following Pokemon will be from 7K eggs: Alolan Rattata, Alolan Meowth, Alolan Grimer, Sneasel, Poochyena, Stunky, and Purloin. Dark-type Pokemon like Alolan Meowth, Yveltal will be appearing in raids. Event-exclusive research will lead to encounters with Dark-type Pokemon, including Galarian Zigzagoon and Scraggy. That's cool. Event-exclusive AR mapping tests will lead to Galarian Zigzagoon. That's where you walk around the Pokestop and scan it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I feel so bad doing that. I feel like I'm ratting out a Pokestop to the Pokemon company. Like they want me to verify that it's there, and if it's not there anymore, they're gonna take that stop away.
Correct.
I
don't think that's so bad about it.
Clean up your community.
Okay, that was a Sulf Road rumor, and that has never happened. Like, there is no proof.
Are you sure?
Yes, because
that
anytime
stop
you bring
disappeared. Every stop they've asked me to AR map has been a stop that's been there, and I've refused to do ones that I know aren't there anymore, like the post office downtown.
They're not going to remove the post office. It's but
the post office isn't there anymore. The post office closed.
The post office isn't there anymore.
The post office
destroyed the post office.
Yes, the post office is closed. They rebuilt the entire in real life. The post office that was closest to my office got destroyed and remodeled into a lobby and some other store. It's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't tell them. I won't tell them about it. And
maybe
I have
5 times. None of my stops have been removed.
But were the stops still there? Were they still the thing that they said they were?
Yeah, I think so.
See, that's the thing. I don't want to. The ones that I have are some things that don't exist anymore.
Okay, so there are like 1 billion Pokestops. Who's checking these?
The people on that website, whatever it's called.
No, the AR scan does not go to the Niantic website. Like, no one can see your scans.
What?
That I know of.
Where do the scans go?
They go. I'm assuming they go right to Niantic. They don't like you when you scan like a religious statue at a cemetery. Like, no one is seeing like that data from your phone isn't going to what's it called? What is that thing called? The
Wayfinder.
Yeah, it's not going directly to Wayfinder. Like, that information doesn't show up there.
Not directly.
But
indirectly, because they have the Kill the Pokestops team. Look, I have a friend locally who wants to destroy Pokemon stops because things don't exist there anymore, and I am fighting that. I am fighting them by not scanning things that aren't there anymore, so that Niantic
there is
can't
no
shut them
way
down.
that there aren't thousands of people doing the scans every day. That's so much data going back to Niantic. I'm sure they're using it for something, but I don't think like there's somebody at the checklist being like,
next you're going to tell me
wait. Have
that
you
the
ever
government
tried
aren't listening to my cell phone calls
to log in to something on a web browser and it comes up and it says, look at this grid of 9 pictures. Which one is the post office that Greg used to go to? And you have to click it, right? You've done this.
Yeah.
Because guess what? Those pictures come from Mr. Google, who owns Mr. Niantic.
Yeah.
That's true. Is this function, the scan function, is this an Ingress? It has to be an Ingress, right?
Oh, I have no idea.
Like, I would assume Ingress players are also scanning whatever. I mean, I've submitted Pokestops that have gotten approved, but they never showed up. But they show up in Ingress. But they do say that on Wayfinder. They say, like, we don't use Pokestops for every game. I've also had it where gyms turn into Pokestops and then Pokestops turn into gyms.
Yes.
Where they randomly, like, flip that switch.
All I'm saying is I am not giving Big Brother Niantic any ammunition to close down my stops by doing their. I will only AR scan things that I know are still there.
That the entire city of Minneapolis is also not AR scanning that one Pokestop there.
Yes, we all have an agreement except for one person, and I know them personally, who's trying to ruin everybody's fun.
Not unless you live in some town of 200 people where you got 3 Pokestops. Has the whole city agreed? Let's not AR skin.
You don't know our Facebooks. You don't know our Discords. You don't know how we talk.
Exactly.
Everybody assumes everybody in Minneapolis knows each other, and that isn't a correct assessment. We have all agreed, except for one person who's like, "I'm gonna kill that stop because it's not there anymore."
Sylveon will be making its Pokemon Go debut. It will evolve into Eevee. It will.
What?
Wow,
that's some magic.
They got it backwards. Niantic got it backwards. Evolve Eevee into Sylveon by earning hearts when it's your buddy. Eevee, Ralts, Spritzee, Swirlix will be appearing in the wild alongside Dark-type Pokemon. Eevee's evolutions, Vaporeon, Jolteon, Flareon, Espeon, and Umbreon will be appearing in 3-star raids.
What about the other 2?
Yeah, lures. Event exclusive tasks will lead to encounters with Eevees and its evolutions. Exclusive AR mapping task will reward Poffins.
No, I will not sell out my stops for Poffins. I cannot be bought.
You better believe I'll sell out for Poffins. Sylveon inspired albums, avatar items will be added to the shop. Okay, that's it. That's your Pokemon Go news. Greg, do you want to do question of the week?
Sure. Okay. Dear SPJ, ask away. I can't wait to hear what you will pick for the question of the week.
Was that a cover of Katy Perry's Electric?
No, because I don't know what that song sounds like.
All I know is it goes, electric. You laughing at?
You know that's going to be a thing.
This is a question from Jorts. Do you think Pokemon would benefit from adding in player's choice, with those choices having an actual impact on game progression?
I am assuming this is like a Mass Effect or a Dragon Age where you have a dialogue tree and then you pick those things and it leads you down a branching path.
They already do this though. You Helix, Fossil, or Dome. Make your choice and move on.
No, stop. Why do you exist? Do I think it would benefit from it? Maybe. Like, they would have to have a much more complex story, and I don't think they're going to do that. So do I think implementing this to get a much more complex story would benefit Pokemon? Yes. But they would need to have much better stories. I think there is a non-linear aspect of having branching pathways that is hard. It's already not easily accessed by a lot of people. Like that, there are always people who are going to want an optimized sort of experience, and a lot of choices things are leading to like, this is the best, this is the not best, this is
you min-maxing?
Yeah. And so in a game that really does lean into min-maxing in a lot of ways or overpowering, I think it's a tough fit. I think it would be a better fit for a game like Colosseum or Gale of Darkness, where that's a very story driven sort of, hey, you are fighting this team. Do you rescue this? Do you stop this person? Do you do that? Where, you already have a small pool of things you can collect. I think that fits better with that than the main large collecting game.
Yeah, I don't want to say I don't love it. I don't hate it. But when they do things like Dome or Helix, which Eevee do you want? Which Urshifu do you want? Like, I want everything.
Yeah.
Well, and so when you start giving me like choices, especially like, oh, if I do this is going to change that point of the game. Like now I feel like I'm frustrated that I got to play it again if I want to see that choice, or I got to look it up, or but the Urshifu thing, I had to play it twice because I wanted both Urshifus.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, I think they've hit the limit of a branching path concept. Number one, by fundamentally making you have to choose are you going to choose this game that has these version exclusives or this game that has these version exclusives? And anything more that they do within that would limit you to getting one Pokemon or another Pokemon, which, let's be honest, would be the whole point of having branching paths in a Pokemon game.
Right. Like one would lead you to one legendary and one would lead you to the other.
Exactly.
That would create problems in the community in a main series game.
The more, and it's like it would literally just inspire people to hack more.
They already did that though. You want this horse or you want that horse?
Yeah, but that's still version exclusivity because I just have it like on both my versions, and in my Sword version I got Ice Horse, and in Shield version I get Ghost Horse.
I think they've done as much as the game and the community can handle. I think if they leaned into it more in a main series game, I think it would overall hurt. I think it would hurt the game more.
If they did something where, I feel like a Pokemon game did this. If they, I still dislike the consequence of losing in a Pokemon game, because all it does is it takes your money, and then that puts you at a disadvantage because you can't then use you're losing money where, like, let's say you went through a battle. This is a very common thing, probably with a younger audience, maybe like 8 or 10 years old, especially me as a kid because I was dumb. But you're in a battle with the Elite Four and you use all your potions, you use all your revives during the battle, you make it all the way to Lance. Let's just do red and blue, and then you lose the Lance and he takes your money. Now you have less money and you have no more hyper potions. You have no more super potions. You have no revives because you used them all and you lost. And now it feels like it's this uphill battle because either if you don't buy anything because you don't have enough money and you go through again, you don't have those potions, you don't have those revives, you lose again and they take even more money. So your actual... And it's not like in those older Pokemon games, at least, there's ways to make money. Like if you battled all the trainers, if you found all the nuggets, like you don't have income. So your best option is to, at least in my opinion, is to buy as much as you can buy. Mm-hmm. Don't use any of it. Go through the Elite Four, let them defeat you, and then use whatever remaining money you have and buy again. And then at a certain point where you think you're going to win the run, then you use those potions and those. But the game, it's such a weird mechanic to be like, oh, well, we're taking money from you. Instead, and maybe this goes back to Jordan's questions, adding player's choice. Like if trainers change their Pokemon based on whether you won or lost or how good you did, I think that would be more exciting. I don't know if that ties into the question. Like, instead of like when you get to your rival, like the first rival battle, you're allowed to lose, right? Like the game doesn't black you out. You don't, like, it continues on. I would, if you beat that rival, he should have stronger Pokemon. And if you lose to that rival, maybe his Pokemon get weaker, and or like or
the other way around to get the challenge to balance
right
out.
Yeah.
So
but
it would be
not
cool
really player choice, though. That's not a choice the player's making.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. That's not a choice.
That is a consequence of in-game activity, which I think is good, but it is a different than I've made a choice to go down this path.
I've made a choice to lose to this guy.
I've made a choice to lose to Lance.
Yeah, that's true. That's not player's choice. It's an interesting thing to think about.
Yeah, I think depending on where they go with the series, I would love to see more just pure role-playing games that have a limited pool of Pokemon that you can get that would have branching paths. Like, going into it, this isn't a collecting game. This is, this is the story, like Gale of Darkness was to some extent. And I think they should add more in there. I think for the main series, that is much more about collecting. They have reached the limit of, is it this or this? Are you going to pick one of these 3 starters? Like, I think they've reached what the community can tolerate at this time.
I think that could be Pokemon Legends.
Yeah, it could be. No, definitely.
I think that would be an opportunity for something like that. That's more like Skyrim, than, say, a traditional Pokemon game.
Right.
Will, what is our Pokemon of the week?
Well, what was our Pokemon of the week last week, folks? It started out that it wasn't IHOP, number one. So you had to think of the other one. And if you were thinking Huddle House, please, there's like 6 Huddle Houses in the entire United States. Obviously not what I was thinking.
What is the other one?
Greg.
What?
Are you serious?
Answer for the people.
Steve,
Chick-fil-A.
If it's not IHOP, what is it? What's the other one?
Pancake House.
Why do you not original Pancake House? Waffle House. Waffle House.
Waffle House
I'm pretty certain I have been to a Waffle House with you in Indianapolis.
Yes, but not Wisconsin.
No. Still.
It's no
there
Perkins.
You go. Look, all of this is irrelevant.
It's not.
The fact
it's vitally relevant.
That it's Waffle House. And then you have to take the word waffle and make all those adjustments to the letters that I indicated, where you replace the F's with P's and you get wapple. And then you also have to recognize that the letter, which in English is W, but in most other languages is double V, which then I said is a double letter. So replace it with 2 letters. Those 2 letters, one being the F that you replaced with the P previously, and the L that is at the LE end of the word. And you get...
It's...
Wobbuffet.
Ooh, Wobbuffet House.
The Wobbuffet is not fruit-based.
It's Flapple.
Flapple. Yes. Which I also believe mentioned like the week prior... Like, have I ever done Flapple?
Appleton, Wisconsin.
There is trivia on Flapple.
Yeah, there's.
Oh, nobody goes to Appleton.
Yeah, Appleton's the worst.
I only know about Appleton because a friend of mine grew up there.
I only know Appleton because there's a YouTube video of a person complaining about the candles that she purchased from Bed Bath & Beyond. And it's about a half-hour video.
Just so we all know, there is no shuffle icon, and it breaks my heart.
Flapple and Appleton are the only Pokemon to have identical Gigantamax forms, although they are still treated as different Pokemon and have distinct Pokedex entry, Gmax moves, and cries. This is also the only instance of 2 different species of Pokemon that can be physically identical without the use of transform, imposter, or illusion. Flapple and its evolutionary family are the only ones in the grass and dragon type egg group. Even though Flapple's Pokedex entry refers to spitting acid, it cannot learn apple acid.
There's
That's
a move
bummer.
called apple acid?
There's a move called apple acid?
Only Appleton can learn apple acid.
What does it do?
It is an 80 power move, 100% accuracy. It's a special grass. And it will lower the special defenses stat by 1 stage. Target's special defense stat.
I need to teach that to my cute little Rose.
Well, it can't learn it. Only Appleton can learn it.
Yeah.
At this time, wait for Gen 9.
Yeah, of course, every signature move.
Gets spread out.
You know, Flapple might be a combination of Flap and Apple. Whoa.
What?
Or Flying Apple, possibly.
Or Flow Apple.
No. Flapple's got no flow.
What about next week?
All right. Here we go. I believe Steve, the cartoon, and many others have maligned this wonderful Pokemon. This week's clue is a list. Mouse Pokemon, Tiny Mouse Pokemon, Cheering Pokemon or Cheering Pokemon, Ella Squirrel Pokemon, Antenna Pokemon, Roly-Poly Pokemon, Two-Sided Pokemon. A 2012 version of this Pokemon in the Pokemon trading card game featured the popular attack Call for Family, which, for 1 colorless energy, allows you to search for 2 basic Pokemon and put them onto your bench. That's all you need.
I know Call for Family.
It's like was printed on 400 different TCG cards, so it's literally not even a clue. Okay.
Okay. Well, we'll be back next week, of course. No Greg or Will on the show next week. You guys will be
What?
out of town.
What are you talking about?
Greg will not be out of town. Only I will be out of town.
Oh, you'll be back by then?
I'm there for literally one day, and I'm coming back on Friday.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, no Will next week.
Correct.
So you'll have to wait a whole week for that Pokemon of the week. You have plenty of time.
I have to write it down and remember. So
I'll post it in the secret channel in Slack that's not secret.
Okay.
So we'll be back next week. If you want to stay up to date with the show at PKMNcast on Twitter, PKMNcast on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, I don't know, wherever else. Everything but Reddit, r/super effective for Reddit. Will is at Wash in the Sink. Greg is at I almost said Dragging a Lake. That's me. Greg is at
you.
White Wing. I am at Dragging a Lake. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks for making it to the end. This has been another episode of the Pokemon Podcast, and we are...
Well, I mean, the secret word is zero sugar. Super effective.
Super syrup on pancakes only and on waffles, no butter. Butter is bad.